All right. Welcome, everybody, to our new live cast, Taking No Thought, the Secret to Effortless Living. When you truly understand who you are, you stop overthinking everything. You realize you're not separate from life. You are life expressing itself. But most of us create problems by thinking we need to get truth or find God somewhere outside ourselves. Here's what happens. When we think there's me over here trying to understand truth over there, we've already split reality in half. It's like trying to find your glasses while they're on your head. The very search creates the problem. You might believe in God and have faith that you're divine. That's nice, but it's not enough. Until you actually understand that you are that divine consciousness, not separate from it, you'll keep struggling for health, money, and happiness. Faith is good, but understanding is what actually changes your experience. Here's a practical example. When I travel, I usually just hope nothing bad happens. No accidents, no hijackings. I don't worry about it. But that's just wishful thinking, not real understanding. The deeper truth is this: the real me, consciousness itself, doesn't actually travel anywhere. Consciousness is already everywhere. When I truly get this, I'm not just hoping to be safe, I'm operating from a completely different level of reality. This doesn't magically prevent accidents, but it moves me out of fear-based thinking. Instead of trying to mentally protect myself, I understand that my true identity as consciousness is already whole and present, whether my body seems to be here or there. Mind doesn't move around. It simply is everywhere at once. So welcome to our exploration today. This is going to be a neat conversation. Betty, how are you today?
Just fine.
Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, but I don't know how to put it into what you've been just talking about, but it's a no judgment frame of mind.
Yeah.
I called it neutral.
Mm-hmm.
It allows me to be open to whatever comes up that might meet the need,
Right.
instead of zeroing in on something that may or may not show up and then I'm upset.
Right. Because then you have an expectation that it should
Yeah,
look a particular way and we like hold on to that.
right. So
Yeah.
it's good to be able to allow that to be and just be open to what is present,
Yeah.
working with that because there's only one thing going on. It's
Right.
all consciousness present, seen
Yes.
however it's being seen, seen,
Right.
heard, and felt.
So there's some people who might listen to you saying neutral, be neutral, and saying, well, aren't we supposed to deny error and affirm the truth?
No.
So how is being, what's that different than being neutral? Talk to
Well,
me about
if you're a practicing scientist, you don't have anything to deny. All is infinite mind, period.
that. Mm-hmm.
And operating from that standpoint, you be, do, and have only what fits into that category because there isn't anything else.
Right.
You live yourself whole. So if if all is infinite mind and I'm living that whole, I don't have anything to fear.
Right. Well, let me pose this question to you then, because I get that. If I'm neutral about my illness, say I have a severe illness, say I'm neutral about my illness, am I just accepting it instead of healing it?
No, but you're when you look at when you look at a bush and you think it's a dog,
Right. From a
what you
distance. Yeah.
going to dig up the bush? You know, you don't need to dig up the bush to prove that it's not a dog. When you get
Right.
to when you see it, it's not a dog. So there's nothing to dig up.
Right.
You know, it's like being clear-headed rather than wishful thinking.
All right. So if I'm if I'm neutral about my illness, if I'm at that 0 point that we talk about, then that just means I've let go of my judgments, opinions.
No, it means you've let go of your belief that the thing you see in the mirror is all there is to you. And a
Yes.
willingness is present
Yes.
to live
Okay.
yourself as you exist,
Right.
rather than as you look.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Well said. All right. I get it. Okay. All right. So, anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to add before we jump
I
in?
think so.
Okay, well, let's dive in. And if anyone has any questions, go ahead and enter them into the comments box, and we will, if we're live, we'll bring them up and we'll address them. So bring your questions. All right. So here we go. In Christian Science Re-Explored, Margaret Laird on page 141 and 142 said, a practicing scientist is neutral. We've just talked about this. A practicing scientist is neutral, resolving opposites into a balanced whole. And so let me ask this question. What does it mean to resolve opposites rather than choose good over evil?
Well, resolving opposites leaves you whole.
And
If
choosing good over evil just leaves me at one end of the spectrum.
It's right. You're right in the fulcrum.
Right.
Rather than on the ends.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Got it. Okay. Anything else on that one?
Well, I had a note. I'm trying to see it here for a minute.
Is it the more discussion note or?
If you can be open, it allows for serendipity.
Oh.
And
right.
serendipity is having something unanticipated show up that's perfect for the moment.
Right. So it's like letting go. If you remain open, you're letting go of all of your beliefs and judgments and opinions and all that stuff. You're just open. So you can actually see things you wouldn't otherwise see, or notice things you might not otherwise notice. Then that's that serendipity thing.
Yeah, you're not throwing your ideas out. You're just having them be there and looking around to see what else.
Right. Right. Very good. Okay. Now, for more discussion, a professing scientist is a theorist using science as if it were a weapon or tool to get him what he wants.
Yep.
So someone who professes to be a scientist, that's different than somebody who's actually practicing science?
Yep.
Okay.
You can talk a good line, but the evidence is always right in front of you.
Say more.
So a professing, talking scientist doesn't have any, it doesn't mean anything. Words don't mean a thing. Much professing about stuff is not of any consequence. It's the living of it that makes a difference. It's
Right.
the practical walking the walk and talking the talk, instead of professing something as if it were a great theory with no proof at all.
Yeah, I heard this saying, I think a week or so ago, who you're being is talking so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying.
Yep.
So that's same idea, kind of.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, very cool. All right. All right. Now, in Science and Health, Mary Baker Eddy on page 400, starting on line 12, wrote, eradicate the image of disease before it has taken tangible shape in conscious thought.
Yep. You talk yourself into the problems. And how do you do that? You do it by identifying with it, by talking about it, by describing it, by showing it off, by explaining it, and then trying to get rid of it.
All right. So if science emanates from divine mind, how do I access it versus study it?
How do you access it?
Yeah. If science emanates from divine mind, how do I access it rather than just study it?
Well, say 2 and 2 is 4.
Yeah.
I access that. What's the deal?
Oh, there wasn't anything to do. It's just there.
Yeah. It's already
Oh,
present. It's functioning. It's whole.
yes. Yes. Okay. Good. Oh, these are good. All right. And this prevents the development of disease. So
Yeah,
to
it's
go
the
back,
development of
eradicate,
it.
huh?
The development of it is all the processing you do with hanging on to it instead of allowing it to be. It
Okay.
disappears when you pay no attention. You
This
fuss with
prevents,
it, give it a name, describe it, explain why you don't like it or why you do like it, why it shouldn't be there, why it should be there. All that stuff gives it an identity it doesn't have. But you give it that, and then you're stuck with it.
okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Any questions? Just put them in the chat. Put them in the comments. All right. So in Christian
Anybody
Science,
have anything to say yet?
nope, not yet.
Oh,
In
we got a
mind is
smart audience.
that's right. In Mind is the Athlete on page 138, you wrote it this way, Betty. You said identity and its source are one presence.
Mhm.
The identity of spirit, perfect, eternal, and infinite, exists at the level of being.
Yep. That's what the level of being is all about. And since each one of us bees, that's what we're all about.
Right. So if I'm one with my identity, why do I still experience limitation?
Tell me, I'd like to know.
That's what I'm wondering. How come it just seems like sometimes it just seems like things are so hard?
Well,
Like
what
things
seems hard?
are well, things are unattainable, or it's just I struggle and struggle and feel like I'm going in circles. So if I'm one with my source, why do I still experience the limitation? Because I'm not really
You're
one.
not
I'm embodied
staying,
with a picture.
you're not staying one with source. You're wandering.
Okay.
You know, if you're in the presence of love, you don't have to sit and wonder where love is.
Right. Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. So if I've got any sort of thing going on like that, then I'm not at the neutral point. I'm not
You have the opportunity to look and say, oh, what more? Which puts you in the middle, the neutral point where you
right.
aren't attached to the look.
Got it.
When you're not attached to the look, it's like serendipity.
Yeah.
What shows up that's needed just shows up, and there you are.
Okay. I got it. And then if I keep struggling, it just keeps struggling.
Well, your struggle is because you think it's not the way it should be. You don't
Right.
struggle with perfection. You struggle with your point of view about what perfection is.
Ah, that is good. Okay. Yes. Clear. That's good. All right. We don't struggle with perfection. We struggle with our point of view of perfection. All right.
Yes.
That's going to be homework later, guys. Just wait. Okay. In Christian Science Re-Explored, Margaret Laird wrote on page 142, the practicing scientist demonstrates peace of mind in the knowledge that his mind is the all mind.
Yep. Did you get that?
Yeah.
You're
How is
demonstrating. If you're practicing the science of reality, the science of being, then your peace of mind is in the knowledge that mind is all there is.
right? Because it's all there is.
Yeah, because there isn't anything else.
And when you're present to that, you have no worries. You have no,
Well,
you
there's
don't
nowhere to
have stuff
go.
cluttering the
You're
view.
really present.
Right. Right.
It's like running a race and standing at the winning point. Where are you going to go?
Right. So what's the difference between knowing this intellectually and actually demonstrating it?
Just take a look around. The difference is obvious.
Just in what is in your life, what's showing up. Is that
That's right. And that's the, it's in proportion to your discernment.
mm-hmm.
I may have an idea that it's in that direction, but I'm sort of figuring out what to do next and still playing with the whole thing instead of being present to the
Right.
fact.
Okay.
So as long as I'm fussing with it, I may get there, but it'll be a circuitous route, you know?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. And this man, as science or mind, has no dependence on anything outside of his own unfoldment.
Yeah, we've got to somehow, in the practice of science, you become aware that your being and who you are being is all resident in your own presence,
Mm-hmm.
thinking, functioning. You know, if man is the expression of God's being,
Mm-hmm.
when God is functioning, man is present.
Yeah.
So if I can be there, there's no place else to go.
Yeah. This also brings up for me a question around intuition, intuitive living. And it really is to each of us, each one, living our world and it because it there's no dependence on anything outside of my own unfoldment, of what unfolds in and around me as my world.
Yeah, and that's kind of an intellectual speaking
Yeah.
of what's actually going on all the time.
Yeah.
I'm walking through my highest sense of perfection all the time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Margaret used to say, pay attention to your seeing.
Right.
What am I seeing?
Right. Okay. Very clear. I like that. All right. In Science and Health, Mary Baker Eddy said it this way on page 122, starting on, or 127, starting on line 26. Science is an emanation of divine mind and is alone able to interpret God aright.
Yep. You know, when you're speaking the truth, it isn't personal.
Right.
It's God speaking.
Right.
Because the presence that speaks is God being. The
Got it.
action of God is man.
Okay. So what's the difference between science interpreting God and me interpreting science?
Science doesn't interpret God. Science acknowledges God.
Got it. Okay. Right. Because interpreting would be thinking about.
Interpreting is personal and has a judgment involved.
Right. Okay. Clear.
From a given point of view.
Right. Yeah, I could get that. Okay. Science has a spiritual, not a material origin.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense to me too. Okay. And in your book, Mind is the Athlete, on page 138, you wrote, the vision that is free of conceptual boundaries experiences human living full of joy and power.
Yep.
So how do I drop my conceptual boundaries or my boundaries without losing all structure in my thinking? Or is that just more thinking about, trying to figure it out?
It's a lot of wondering whether and thinking about and
Right.
listen over.
Trying to put it all together.
You know, the thing we forget is who we are. If man is the expression of God's being and you really want to be yourself, you need to let go of all the judgmental, figuring out, struggling with, determining, wishing for, fixing, helping, all that. Leave it alone and just be.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you allow yourself to be, the more intuitively you live, the more inspired you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The more inspired, meaning the more in touch with reality.
Mm-hmm.
if all is infinite mind needs nothing ever. Its omnipresence goes nowhere ever. Omnipotence has no other ally. It's
Right.
all there is.
Right.
Omnipresence is all there is.
Yeah.
And that is the being me right now, looking like Betty.
Mm-hmm.
And when I leave it alone, it goes beautifully. When I fuss with it, oh dear.
Right. Watch out, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, Margaret Laird in Christian Science Re-Explored, starting on page 142, wrote, "Truth, his own individual awareness of or science, creates the magic of his living in language of his discernment."
Read that again.
Truth, his own individual awareness or science, creates the magic of his living in language of his discernment.
Yep. And that's not something you have to call forth. It's something you have to, and it isn't a have to, but it's something that occurs when you take no thought.
Right. Well, it seems to me that the magic of living reveals every instant, and I may like it or not, but there it is. Because it's
Well, liking it or
my
not,
own in my own
it's
individual awareness or science,
yeah,
creating the
you're already
magic
hanging
of
free.
living. And
Yeah.
I may or may not be present to the magic, but it's my view of the one reality present. It's the only view I've got.
Yeah, and the view conforms to your willingness to allow it to be magic, to allow it to be whole, to
Yeah.
allow it to be free.
Okay.
If you attach your personal druthers to it, you sink the ship.
Right. Right. Okay.
If all is infinite mind, why am I going to go out and fix something?
Exactly. What needs fixing?
Yep.
Or you could say what needs healing, or, like that.
What
The
needs
science,
anything,
huh?
or what needs anything?
Right. The science spirit functions as awareness and is freedom from conditioned thinking. So it's conditioned thinking, kind of, when we fall into that really gets us in trouble, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, sure. Conditioned thinking is thinking hinged on what I'm looking at.
Right.
And that's like a waste of time.
Right. Okay.
There's no help there. It's a
Right.
dead end street.
This is all there is. Okay. And Mary Baker Eddy wrote on Science and Health on page 272, starting on line 31, "Science alone reveals the natural divine principle of science."
Yep.
So how does science reveal itself? Just like everything appearing, disappearing, reappearing, just infinitely? It's reality present in that sense?
Well, why don't you read the sentence again? Because that's not
Science,
what it's asking.
science alone reveals the natural divine principle of science.
Yep. In other words, I can't dig it up and substitute it in because science alone reveals itself.
Okay.
I don't have to put it in another framework. I don't have to add to
So,
it or elaborate on it. I have
yeah.
to be willing to acknowledge that fact, that spiritual fact, is indeed present.
Okay. So what does it have to?
Willingness to acknowledge is God present acknowledging,
Right.
because the willingness doesn't occur to Betty.
Okay. So what's the difference between learning science and science being revealed?
You never learn science. Man is science in action.
Okay.
It's a discovery rather than a learning.
Oh, got it. Okay, that puts it in a better place for me to think about that. So it's a discovering. All right.
It's already perfect, whole, complete,
Yeah.
joyous, free.
Okay.
All is infinite mind, after all.
Right.
What is there to struggle with?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
There is no material truth.
Yep.
Why is that?
Because material is a point of view. It's
Got it.
a without substance, without reality, without anything, comes to you for life, and you give it all the life it's got. So you want to leave it alone. The hell with it.
Right. Okay.
The material is a point of view. That means nothing.
Right. Okay.
I can look down the street and my point of view is a point of view. So what? Everybody's got one, a point of view. Leave it alone. I'm not going to do anything for you.
Right.
But if if you take it on, it can give you a problem because you're giving yourself one.
Right. Okay. All right. And in Mind is the Athlete, you wrote, this presence shows up in language as a view called the seen, heard, and felt.
Yep. Science alone, you see. That presence shows up in a language that I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of having it be a language revealing perfection, I look at it and say, I don't like that color.
Right.
I want a bigger one. I want more. It's not enough. I want it to be different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that one. I have a better one over here.
Right.
Why can't I have that one?
Right. Okay.
Play with that for years, never be happy, never be fulfilled, never be satisfied. But go at it if that's what you want to do.
All right. This presence includes whatever the concept looks like, sounds like, and feels like.
Yeah. When we say all is infinite mind, we're talking about exactly what you're doing every day. We're not talking about pie in the sky.
Right.
But if you can allow it to be truth functioning, you're listening for living. It's different than if you fight with it because it doesn't look right to you.
Right. Right. Okay, very good. All right. So the one thing that I want to let everybody know is Betty has an upcoming live cast that is going to be held in September, on September 13th for 3 hours. And that's called Stand. And that's what?
It's a Saturday morning.
Right. On the 13th of September, called Standing in Being, your gateway to conscious living beyond ordinary experience. You can go out to scientificmetaphysics.org/livecast-with-Betty, and you can get more information. You can register to attend. This will be direct, interactive learning and kind of really exploring with Betty directly. So anybody who would like to check that out, that's where you can check that out. And we would love to see you there on the 13th of September. Until then, we will see you next week. Yes. So that's all we've got for today. And go forth and see how this evolves in your life. Play with this. There's nothing to change about perfection, and all is perfection functioning. So play with that idea. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.